Now, I don't want to leave you today with the impression that leadership, at least the way we speak about leadership, is something theoretical and abstract. And so I decided to bring along two slides, which we usually don't show in public, because fundamentally they contain material which is intended for internal use only. But it will give you a concrete idea of what leadership means to us. Now, the slide behind me shows the model we have adopted in both Fiat and Chrysler. And it lists the characteristics that are required of a leader, grouped into two principal areas: the ability to lead change and the ability to lead people. Now, the list has been developed over a number of years and reflects my own personal experience as well as that of my colleagues as to what is truly important for those in a position of leadership. It summarizes the principles at the core of our corporate philosophy, which is one that fundamentally relies on a competitive spirit, on reliability, on integrity, on incredibly rapid decision making, and a passion to achieve results. It also embodies the values that we consider essential in the management of people, in transparency, in a sense of responsibility, in the sharing of information, the rewarding of merit, a commitment to helping others grow, and to treating everyone with dignity and with fairness. Now, only someone who possesses all of these qualities can be truly a leader in our world. Now, the second slide is a more mathematical slide. Here, you see the 9-square matrix that we use in periodic evaluations of our managers. And the evaluation plots the business results achieved and the leadership qualities that were demonstrated. Those positioned in the green squares can be considered to be the best people to invest in the future. Those falling in the yellow square require a follow-up assessment within 6 to 12 months. And for those in the orange squares, a decision needs to be taken within 3 months. And obviously, there is no place in our companies for anyone who is in the red square. Now, we use this tool for internal evaluations at least twice a year, and I'm personally involved in evaluating around 1,000 leaders around the world and establishing their career development paths. And I've just come back from one of those sessions. I finished about 4:30 or 4:45 this afternoon. Now, to give you a practical example of the value of leadership, what can be accomplished with the qualities I've just described, I've brought along a video clip that many of you may remember. The clip aired on February the 6th last year during the Super Bowl. And it conveys a number of messages. It shows the spirit of Detroit, a city devastated by a crisis, but that ultimately found the strength to get back on its feet. It pays tribute to our industrial roots and to the culture of action. It expresses the pride of Chrysler, a company that went to hell and back and is determined to regain its rightful place. But beyond these messages, what I want to highlight this evening is the idea of the commercial itself. A video like this could only have been produced by people who are able to think and to work outside the box. A project like this takes shape when there's a coming together of two dimensions I spoke of: the ability to manage people and the ability to lead change, and ultimately the drive to achieve results. Behind this video is a group of individuals that are capable of free thought. People who are free from cliché and from conventions, free from prejudice and from the force of habit. They're free to express their creativity and to rewrite the rules of what a commercial should be. It's the very first time in the 45 history of the Super Bowl that a 2-minute commercial has ever been broadcast. And we asked the organizers if they could delay resumption of the game by 30 seconds so that we could broadcast it, and they ultimately agreed. But above all, it's the first time that an automaker has used someone like Eminem, who had never before appeared in a commercial, as a spokesperson. On the Super Bowl Sunday, the commercial was seen by 111 million viewers. In the following days, it was the most played video on YouTube, and so far, it has surpassed 21 million views. And at the Cannes International Advertising Festival in France, it was awarded the best automotive commercial in the world. Now, in the end, I believe that the free-thinking approach behind the video, thinking beyond the limits and outside of conventions, invaluable attributes for leaders, is an exceptional example of creative collaboration and is what assured, ultimately, its great success. The people of Fiat and Chrysler come from very two different paths. They are rooted in two different parts of the world, but they have one thing that is absolutely in common. Both of them have been to hell and back. Both of them have lived through the experience of being sentenced to death by the press, by the financial world, and also by the public at large. So at both Fiat and Chrysler, we were able to find the courage to act and to reverse our fate. Now, as always happens in life, the hardest, the most difficult moments when we feel lost and beyond hope are also the most meaningful in shaping our character, because they ultimately change us forever. Those who survive, who find the strength and the courage to stand and fight, will never be as before. Survivors are very different people. They're special people. And my colleagues and I are survivors. We all gain strength from the experience of overcoming adversity. And we don't shy away from making tough decisions, and we're able to continuously adapt to challenges. The decisions that we make today at Fiat and Chrysler are informed by the experience of near extinction and are resolved to never again get so close to demise. My colleagues and I have learned to live a culture of change, of feeling comfortable in the discomfort of uncertainty, of measuring ourselves each day with the yardstick of competition. So we all regard the future as a huge opportunity. And so having acquired an appreciation for the new life that has been granted to us, we're willing to seek out change and initiate it rather than be the victims of it. And I'm referring to much more than merely a change in strategy. What I've learned from my experience as chief executive is that a change in culture is something which is much deeper and much longer lasting than a simple change in industrial or commercial practices. While our organization embraces changes, the one thing that isn't negotiable is our set of values. Our ability to confidently plan for the future while remaining flexible rests on a concept of leadership which is embodied in a handful of core principles. And these values are reflected in every decision we take, in every leadership appointment that we make. And they are the product of a concept which is embodied in a handful of core principles: merit above knowledge or rank, leadership of change and of people above position, the search for excellence above mediocrity, a desire to engage in competition above egocentricity and insularity, and reliability and accountability above idle promises. And these five simple principles govern our lives at Fiat and Chrysler. In a world that constantly changes, our values enable us to be resilient, to stay true to the important principles in life that have no borders: justice, integrity, honesty, and respect for both ourselves and for others. Now, there's a story about a carpenter who was ready to retire. He had enough money to get by, and he told his longtime employer of his plans to leave the construction business and to spend his time with his wife and his family. And the employer was so sorry to see such a good worker leave, and asked if the carpenter could stay around to build one more house, a special house, as a personal favor. And reluctantly, the carpenter agreed. His back ached from years of work, his hands hurt from arthritis, and he longed for the chance to relax. But his integrity would not let his work deteriorate, and so he hammered away. He placed the boards and put the walls up with the same pride that he'd always taken in his craftsmanship. And when the carpenter finished his work, his employer came to inspect the house, and he surprised the carpenter by handing him a set of keys. And he said, "This is your house. It's my gift to you." Now, the point of the story is that we all live ultimately in the house that we build. It is up to us to make the choice to build it well, to refuse to do less than our best. And another way of saying this is that the things we make ultimately make us. Now, I'd like to show you a video that portrays that spirit very clearly. It was used by Chrysler for the launch of the new Jeep Grand Cherokee in the summer of 2010, just 12 months after the company officially emerged from Chapter 11. The spot goes beyond simply promoting a car. It speaks of our philosophy and of our mission of putting what made this nation great into what we do every day. Pride and integrity in what we produce, the culture of doing things and doing them well.